Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Dal, and recently on this channel I decided to start taking a much closer look at some of the hero talents available for testing in the War Within Alpha. Hero talents and hero specs is how our characters are going to grow stronger and evolve in the next expansion, where instead of gaining additional talents as part of our class and spec talent trees, we get a whole new set of talents that we get to pick from, almost like a sub-spec that lets us better customize our chosen playstyle. All of these different hero specs will lean into very specific aspects of our classes and specs gameplay, while adding additional flavor, whether you want to become a Dark Ranger, a Rider of the Apocalypse Death Knight, or a Fate-bound Rogue. But for today's video, I want to take a look at the class of Demon Hunter to explore what the Fel-Scarred and the Aldrachi Reaver are all about in the War Within Alpha. If you want to see more War Within Alpha updates on this channel, be sure to hit subscribe and be sure to catch our live streams where we'll be testing all of the classes on the Alpha whenever we get a new build, which hopefully we'll see one either Wednesday or Thursday of this week. But otherwise, let's get into the class of Demon Hunter. The Fel-Scarred hero spec is the one that allows demon hunters to embrace the demon within, the one they attempt to contain at all times, but this one is instead going to fully lean into the demonic power that demon hunters harness. The primary ability is going to be Demon Surge, which allows them once they enter Metamorphosis to greatly empower their basic combat abilities, for Vengeance being Soul Cleave and Spirit Bomb. While Demon Form is active, the first cast of each empowered ability is going to induce a Demon Surge, causing you to explode with Fel energy, dealing roughly 14,000 fire damage to nearby enemies, which is a AoE ability. It's also going to make you very heavily lean into Metamorphosis, Demonic, as well as any of the other talents that prolong or allow you to use Metamorphosis as often as possible. And the way this is going to look like, you'll actually see your abilities transform whenever you go into Metamorphosis, and these abilities are going to do a little bit more damage than usual. Heading Fel Devastation, we have now a Spirit Burst and a Soul Cinder, which all of them do a little bit additional damage, and they also allow your abilities to use Demon Surge against all nearby enemies that deals pure fire damage, which can combine with certain abilities such as Charred Warblades that allow you to heal for a portion of fire damage that you deal. From that point on, you get to customize the Fel-Scarred Demon Hunter a little bit more, with a bottom right choice node which is going to start either with set Fire to the Pain, where 5% of all non-fire damage taken is instead taken as a stagger damage over 6 seconds, but also reduces your fire damage taken from all abilities by 10%. You could also go in with improved Soul Rending, which grants you additional leech from Soul Rending, which is increased by 2%, and an additional 2% while Metamorphosis is active. Down the middle, we have Focused Hatred, which is going to take the Demon Surge ability and amplify it when used against a singular target. Then we have a choice node between Wave of Delimitation, where Chaos Nova slows enemies by 60% and also will reduce their attack and cast speed by 15% for 5 seconds after the stun fades, which is a fantastic tool to bring into Mythic Plus content. Or you can go with Pursuit of Angriness, which increases your movement speed based on how much fury you currently have. In the next row, we have Enduring Torment, where the effects of your demon form will persist outside of it in a weakened state, allowing demon hunters to retain their demonic value, which is going to, for Vengeance, increase your maximum health, but also armor by 20%. Down the middle, we have Violent Transformation. When you activate Metamorphosis, the cooldowns of your Sigil of Flame and Fel Devastation are immediately reset, and both those abilities are going to play a core part as part of the Fel-Scarred playstyle. Then we have Burning Blades, where your blades burn with Fel energy, causing your Soul Cleave, Throw Glaive, and auto attacks to deal additional 10% damage as fire damage over 6 seconds. In the next row, we have Monster Rising, which increases your agility by 5% while not inside of a demon form. In the middle, we have another choice node between Flamebound, or we have Student of Suffering. Student of Suffering causes Sigil of Flame to apply Student of Suffering buff to the Demon Hunter, increasing your mastery by 12% and granting you Fury every 2 seconds for 8 seconds. Or back to Flamebound, where Immolation Aura has a 2 yards increased radius and a 30% increased critical strike damage bonus. With Untethered Fury, your maximum Fury is increased by 50. Lastly, your final ability, which is Demonic Intensity, allows upon Metamorphosis activation to greatly empower your Fel Devastation, your Immolation Aura, and Sigil of Flame. Demon Surge damage is also being increased by 10 additional percent. Take a look at all the other abilities modified by Metamorphosis from Fel Dev, Immolation Aura, and Sigil of the Flame. They become Sigil of Doom. Immolation Aura becomes Consuming Fire, and Fel Devastation becomes Fel Desolation. All of these abilities are going to deal additional fire damage, but also every single one of them will also proc a Demon Surge as well. As for Havoc Demon Hunter, we essentially see the same thing, except all of your abilities such as your Eye Beam becomes Abyssal Gaze, but as for Consuming Fire as well as Sigil of Doom, all of those abilities mimic what you see with Vengeance Demon Hunter. Although Havoc Demon Hunters do have a unique interaction with the fire damage because thanks to any means, all abilities that do pure arcane, fire, frost, or nature can then be converted back into chaos, which is going to allow you to utilize Mastery as a stat to fuel a lot of this fire damage that comes out of Demon Surge ability, allowing you for a much bigger and more explosive AoE burst whenever you enter Metamorphosis to maximize its overall output. And Havoc even has unique interactions with Metamorphosis specifically, mostly when we're talking about the cooldown reduction of you being able to enter it more often with Cycle of Hatred, which when paired together with Demonic gives you a little bit more value to the whole Fel-Scarred as a playstyle. Then we have another set of Demon Hunter hero talents, and I actually went back to the Vengeance Demon Hunter questline to make sure that I get the pronunciation of this one correctly.
Our Illidan beholds but a fragment of the Aldrachi.
The Aldrachi Reaver are a set of warriors who were the ultimate glaive masters that wielded blades with deadly grace, consuming souls and imbuing the weapons with greater power. Whereas the Fel-Scarred rely on their inner demon, the Aldrachi rely on their weapons and martial prowess, with the prime main ability Art of the Glaive. Consuming 3 soul fragments grants you the use of Reaver's Glaive. Reaver's Glaive is an enhanced version of Throw Glaive that deals additional physical damage and ricochets to other targets. It also begins a well-practiced pattern glaive work, enhancing your next 2 main spec abilities, and for Havoc it's going to be Chaos Strike and Blade Dance. After using the Glaive, you get 2 effects. Glaive Flurry buffs your next Blade Dance, causing it to deal additional damage, while Render Strike allows your next Chaos Strike to apply a Reaver's Mark, which causes the target to take additional damage for a handful of seconds. The debuff functions very similar to like a Rogue's Vendetta. It gives you a small window in order to be able to unleash a little bit extra carnage, while Blade Dance for the most part just gives you additional damage that you deal to all nearby targets. For Vengeance Demon Hunter, generating souls and consuming them is quite easy, so they should get a lot of value out of Reaver's Glaive, but for Havoc Demon Hunter, your soul generation is a little bit more staggered, as you don't really get any guarantee ways of ripping souls out of your foes, except for a handful of set talents, such as Soul Sigils, which allows you to gain a lesser fragment after hitting an enemy with a sigil, or by going Elysian Decree, or even random chancing a soul fragment with chaos fragments. Passively, every single one of your Chaos Strikes has a chance to rend souls out of your target, which allows you to gain value towards the Reaver playstyle, which means there's quite a bit of consistency between how Havoc and Vengeance Demon Hunters are going to approach this spec. Although whereas Havoc only needs a few souls to activate Art of the Glaive, for Vengeance you are going to have to stack up 20 souls before you can get the full value out of the combo strike. Going further down the talent tree, we have Incisive Blade, which is going to buff Chaos Strike and Soul Cleave damage when they're enhanced by the Reaver's Glaive. A choice node down the middle actually amplifies your movement, either by letting Vengeful Retreat reset the cooldown of Fellblade, which can be good for mobility but also for resources, or giving Vengeful Retreat an opportunity to be cast twice within 3 seconds. Not only is this talent pretty fun when it comes to increasing the sheer mobility of a Havoc Demon Hunter, but each use of Vengeful Retreat also allows you to benefit from Tactical Retreat as well, so it's going to have some gameplay implications. In the next choice node, we have either Preemptive Strike, which allows Throw Glaive to deal additional damage to all nearby targets, or for Reaver's Glaive to generate you 20 Fury instantly. And in the next row, we have Wounded Quarry. While Reaver's Mark is active on your target, all melee attacks have a chance to strike for additional Glaive Slash for a certain amount of damage and shatter a soul, which should hopefully help fuel the Reaver's Glaive ability. Next, we have the Aldrachi Tactics. The second enhanced ability in your pattern shatters an additional soul fragment, which helps you gain additional resources. Next, we have another choice node between Incorruptible Spirit, where consuming a soul fragment also heals you for an additional 15% over time, or Army onto oneself, where Fellblade now surrounds you with the Blade Ward, reducing physical damage taken by 10% for 5 seconds, which could actually be huge depending on your spec. For Havoc, this provides him with a little bit of AoE damage protection, especially with the physical variety, but for Vengeance, that's just pure extra defense. with Warblade's Hunger consuming a soul fragment causes your next Chaos Strike or Shear to deal additional damage. With Escalation, each successful enhanced ability deals 10% increased damage, and the effect of your second enhancement is increased by 100%. Currently this talent isn't fully implemented on the alpha, but from the sound of things it'll either buff the damage of your Blade Dance to maybe hit 6 additional glaive slashes, or maybe double the damage of each glaive slash, or Chaos Strike is going to now have a 30% damage debuff on the target instead of one that is 15%. This could give Demon Hunters a massive burst window of 30% additional damage into a singular target, depending on how they use their abilities. And it all really depends on the order in which these abilities are cast. Next we have Intent Pursuit. Casting an enhanced ability reduces the remaining cooldown of the hunt by 2 seconds. Which will make you want to talent into the hunt in order to fully utilize the Aldrachi playstyle. Your capstone trait is Thrill of the Fight. After consuming both enhancement, you gain Thrill of the Fight, increasing your auto attack speeds by 15% for 5 seconds, and causing your next ability to deal 30% increased damage and healing. Not all the talents are fully implemented over in the alpha, but Thrill of the Fight could be a very interesting talent to play into, and the whole Aldrachi Reaver playstyle would give Demon Hunters so many ways to combo abilities together to gain full value out of their setup, as Thrill of the Fight could be active almost constantly and could increase the value of just about every single major ability that a Demon Hunter has to their toolkit. Overall, out of the two Havoc or Vengeance Demon Hunter hero specs which are shared between the two playstyles, you get two hyper aggressive options, either the Aldrachi or the Fel-Scarred. Starting with the Aldrachi, I feel like the combo playstyle for Vengeance Demon Hunter is going to be interesting to play into, since it's a very aggressive spec of a tank. The more damage you do, the more self-healing you get with Leech. And you can utilize that in order to maintain yourself in between of these little damage combos. But even defensively, it has fantastic tools like passive healing, or even better physical damage protection whenever you use Fellblade. But for the most part, the Aldrachi Reaver is very aggro. And I think for Vengeance, which is fairly simple to pick up and play, adding extra combos into your rotation isn't a bad way to go. Where I'm a little concerned is from a Havoc standpoint, as Havoc Demon Hunters already have to manage a lot of things, from your Essence Break windows, your Inertia, your Initiative, crit damage buff that you need to apply, but also Metamorphosis, and try to find a way to incorporate Aldrachi is going to be, I think, potentially a challenge. On one hand, this could result in some of the biggest damage output and some of the burstiest output if a Demon Hunter can skillfully weave all of these combo abilities together. But a brand new player to a Demon Hunter might have a little bit of a hard time trying to line up all of these abilities all together. So I wonder if maybe Demon Hunters will see a shift towards a more passive playstyle and remove some of the more maintenance buffs out of the rotation in order to have an easier time adapting to the Aldrachi play. The Fel-Scarred takes it in a whole nother direction, where Demon Hunters usually like to have big combos. They're also well known for the Metamorphosis windows. This is where Demon Hunters are at their strongest, and Fel-Scarred leans into it heavily. However, it's very different from the Aldrachi as it's very passive. Sure, it augments your abilities such as your Immolation Aura, it'll augment your Eye-Beam or Fel Devastation, your Shear, but also your Blade Dance, but for the most part it's just additional fire damage. This fire damage I think fits well with the Vengeance playstyle, which is a very aggressive tank like we mentioned earlier. But now you could really unleash all that fire to heal yourself in the process, basically allowing your offense to become your best defense. As for Havoc, this is a much more relaxed playstyle that leans into the fire damage, into the heavy mastery setup, and will have you play around Immolation Aura, and maybe that's what they're trying to achieve. They're trying to achieve two separate playstyles, one that's all about this fire passive damage, but also the big combos and big leaning into Metamorphosis windows, while the other it's all about smaller windows of setup that you'll try to utilize in between of an encounter. Either way, the two of them are quite different, they're all quite flavorful, and they lean into various different aspects of a Demon Hunter. We are still in the alpha of the war within just a second week worth of a update build, but I'm already excited to see where this hero specs are going to take form and which direction they're going to head into over the next few updates. I'm hoping the Blizzard is going to be very careful with some of the feedback the players have for these playstyles, because I can totally see Aldrachi being maybe a little bit too many things to manage. So I wonder if they'll end up pulling back on some of the baseline aspects of Demon Hunter or the Aldrachi specifically to make it easier for having Demon Hunter. But as for the Vengeance Demon Hunter, I think both of them fit the playstyle easily. But otherwise, I want to hear your guys' thoughts in the comments below. What do you think about these Demon Hunter hero specs for War Within Alpha? Do you like them? Do you hate them? And what would you like to see different about every single one of them for both Havoc and Vengeance Demon Hunter? As per usual, if you guys enjoyed this video or found it informative, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. I would very much appreciate it. And as always, in the description of every single video and live stream, we have a link to our Discord community channel. Probably the best place to reach out to me directly in case you want to let me know what you thought about this video or hang out with the rest of the community to discuss some of the upcoming changes. Join our Discord to become part of the community. But otherwise, thank you all so much for watching this video. I do hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know all of your thoughts down below. And as always, I'll see all of you guys in another video.